all of your gullible idiot followers should be realizing right now that you are an idiot or you are a liar. You said you would get turned away at gunpoint. I did not get turned away at gunpoint. You lied, Nathan.
The sun is shining, he's alone, raging into his iPhone, screaming at the top of his lungs as a 24-hour sun. Oh, how we laughed in this fat land at such a comical sight. To see the tomb, the globe-head goose spewing out his shite. Shouting! Where's the guns, Nathan? You promised that I'd see. I'm all alone here raging. Everyone loves something. Oh, where's the guns, Nathan? This is our secret bit. Not come all this distance just for you to take the piss. The ice wind's blowing, here he goes, pacing like a lunatic, upside down on a spinning globe, but the best is yet to come. Oh, how we laughed in this flat land, that's such a comical sight. To see me tune the glove-head goon spewing out his shice, screaming. Where's the guns, Nathan? You promised that I'd see. 'Cause I'm all alone here raging. Everyone laughs at me. Oh, where's the guns, Nathan? And listen, our secret bliss. I've not came all this distance just for you to take the piss. The sun is shining, he's alone, reaching into his iPhone, screaming at the top of his lungs as a 24-hour sun. Oh, how we laugh
their lives and realize Nathan Oakley is a liar. Since 2016, he's been saying if you go to Antarctica, you will be faced with gunpoint and turned away. Where's the guns, Nathan? Where's the guns? I don't see any guns, Nathan!
Yeah, Nathan, where's the dang guns? Welcome to the show. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Let's head on over to Discord. See what the dog days of summer have done to the people in Discord.
It's been good to us.
But during that intro, I must have yawned 7 times in a row.
Shouldn't have stayed up past midnight.
Yeah. Oh, it was well past. Well, I was just starting to hit my stride at midnight. So I don't know what it was. I just felt I had to wait up for my son to come home anyway. So I think it was like 2 o'clock when I went to bed. I need to stop doing that. But it seemed like the thing to do. Welcome, everyone. If you hear a couple yawns, then don't be shocked. We're back in the dog days of summer. We had a few day respite from like 2.5 weeks of 95 and up degree temperature with humidities just skyrocketing. We had like a 3 or 4 day respite on that. It was so wonderful. But now, guess where we're back to?
It's back to 90s. Hey, that's kind of how it always is here in Alabama for the summer. So
Yeah.
you got humidity out the wazoo, and high temperatures and high indexes, and we had a respite as well for a couple of days where it was like 82 degrees at noon. So it was really nice. You'd go outside and it almost felt cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like going in the mornings if you go out and it's in the high 50s and there's just a light breeze. I'm like, oh yeah, baby. That's why I love the fall. My favorite season is the fall, period. Always been, always will be. And say for when I was a kid, I liked the wintertime because I like playing in the snow, doing all the winter activities and stuff. But besides that, as you get out of being a kid, I would have to say the fall, like late September, all of October. Here in the South a little bit. I don't know if you call Missouri South. I do. November is also pretty nice, so it's coming.
Sounds like you're trying to be Southern, but you still got that Yankee accent.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be Southern. No, I just live here.
No, I'm not saying that you are actually actively trying. I'm saying that it's like the way that you talk, you being somewhat Southern, like you were saying, it sounds almost like you're trying to be Southern.
Well, wait a second.
That Yankee.
Wait a second. I've lived in Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, and now Missouri again. I think that I could be partly Southern.
As opposed to me, who's down home Southern.
Yeah, you're like purebred Alabamian.
Yeah, I was raised here, but I was born in Maryland.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Yeah. Well, that doesn't really count where you're physically born. It's where you spend most of your childhood. That's the key.
Yeah, that's Alabama for me, absolutely.
Yeah, jeez, man. I think Adam's watching a soccer game. I think he's got tickets. He got tickets. He was talking about it yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Now they call it football, but I think that he wasn't sure whether they could get tickets or not. And he goes, "Don't worry, QE. I'll message you and I'll let you know if I'm at the soccer game."
Guess you didn't do that.
No. We've had discussions on messages and responses to messages here in the past couple days too with Adam. So Adam, if you're on your way to the pitch, I guess that's what they call it, a pitch or some dumb shit. This is for you. You better start responding appropriately to messages and sending messages when need be. I'll take a contract out on your ass. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, we'll probably get through today's treatment.
I was just going to say that. That was just going there. Yeah, we might actually get through a treatment. That's true. I don't know if I want to pull that up right now. I don't know if I can handle these two bozos anymore. But I advertise it as that, so I'm going to have to do it that way. I could false advertise. I could do something completely different. Yeah.
It's a shame Adam isn't here for me to tell him that I made scrumptious biscuits and sausage gravy last night for dinner.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Mighty shame.
It's a shame Adam's not here.
It's a mighty shame that he's never had sausage gravy and biscuits before.
Yeah, how can he make the call on that? He can't.
No, he can't. Because he thinks biscuits are cookies.
I had
Exactly.
Did he say Yorkshire pudding? I've had that. That doesn't stand up to friggin' biscuits and gravy.
Well, they're two different things.
Yeah.
Textures are totally different. They're
Sort
both
of
good.
Sort of different. It's the same conceptually. It's the same, right?
No, the mix is totally different. I watched how my wife makes it. It's a very thin batter. And you pour it in hot oil coming out of the stove.
Yeah.
Then you put it back in. It puffs up like amazingly high. It's cool.
Call rude.
I would compare the sausage and biscuits. Two
Yeah.
different things.
Maybe I'm thinking of. I might be thinking of something else. Hold on. That's a possibility. Yorkshire pudding.
Superchat.
Hey, what's up, bugger?
It was me saying super chat to you.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
He
right
said
there.
it was me saying super chat to you. Angela Baby Carson sent, still wait for my t-shirt. They are behind, but coming.
There, I forgot all about that website. I'm gonna have to go there sometime. Oh, thanks for the super chat, Angela. Yeah. I need to go there and check that out. All right. Yorkshire pudding is a baked pudding made from a batter of eggs, flour, milk, or water, a common English side dish. It is versatile food. How do you make it, though? What is your...
I just told you.
What's it? Yorkshire pudding is commonly referred to as, popovers.
The oil is a little patch of oil in like a biscuit tray, right? If you're making small ones. And you put it in the oven till it gets really, really hot. Then you take it out and you pour the batter in there and put it back in.
Yeah, I'm thinking of something else. It's not Yorkshire. How is he even comparing this to biscuits and gravy?
You can't.
That's what you were, I guess that's what you were saying. Yeah, it's
That
not
is nothing like my biscuits.
It's not a comparison, though.
Correct.
What am I thinking about? What's that English dish where they use the drippings off the meat at the end, and they pop what the they toss like dumplings in it. What am I thinking of? Or am I high?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, anyway,
Dumplings are good too.
this is not a comparison, because is he just comparing the biscuit-esque nature of the Yorkshire without the gravy? Is that what he's doing?
No, because he talks about pouring the gravy on it from the chicken, right? And I think he's confusing it because sausage and biscuits have the gravy poured on it, but it's totally different.
I'm not getting it. I think this whole thing's non sequitur.
I do use the drippings of cooking my pork with flour and seasonings and stuff. And then I pour over milk into like that mixture and wait till it thickens up. So
Where's Tony Tony Wickham when you need him? We need some English people in here so he could tell us some of the dishes over there that compare with biscuits and gravy. Like scone? No, Cleb, they're not American. American biscuits aren't scones. No.
Now, a scone is a scone.
Yeah, scones are in its own category.
yeah, and aren't they tough? Like they've got a consistency that's kind of tough.
Not all of them, but they, again, different category, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the way I make my biscuits, I like them to be like layered and flaky.
Yep.
So I knead out the dough into like a whatever shape I'm going to be cooking them in. Fold them, do it again, fold them, do it again, fold them, do it again, fold them like a few times.
Yep.
And then I have to keep everything kind of cold.
Yep.
So that's the main thing. You got to keep the batter cold and then put it in the oven at 425 for like 18 minutes. And it's butter the top when they get out.
I was just going to say, where's the butter at?
The butter is shredded all throughout the batter.
Yeah, I knew it.
So I use my cheese grater and I just grate butter that I've kept in the freezer. Yeah, I keep it in the freezer when I know I'm going to make biscuits.
Yeah, wise move. That's a good move. We already began, Nathan. All right, what are we going to do now? We're lost without the host, Adam.
The co-host.
Oh, that's right. I'm the host.
You forgot.
Too funny. Well, the Earth is still flat, stationary, contained most assuredly, and not moving a smeg an inch. I mean, that's for sure.
Since we all know that, we could talk about Evo Tardia.
Yeah, we're into
Angela Baby Carson.
What's that?
Not according to Angela.
Well, Angela can think what she wants to think, Neil. She has the right to think what she wants to think, man. That's what makes the world stationary. I was walking past, I was going to get something out of the kitchen, and I was walking past and I heard that the news was going on, and one of them said that the Earth was spinning faster. I caught it as I walked by, and I said, do I want to? No, I really don't. So I just kept walking. So, but I did hear that earlier today, and I just shook my head like, give me a break.
Faster than what?
I don't know. I didn't hear the whole line. I just caught half the sentence. Faster than it usually does, I guess. Maybe they were confusing orbital rotation or transmitting with the rotation of the Earth, the spinning. A lot of people do that. Or they don't articulate it clear, so everyone's confused. Okay, that happens a lot. I'm listening to some streams. I'm sitting there. Okay, what are you actually trying to say? Are you actually speaking to the rotation of the Earth, and I always say transmitting. You know, the orbital with their fairy tale orbital around the sun. If you just say transmitting, that's a better way to differentiate the two.
So that orbiting motion, they want us to believe that right now we are a planet just floating somewhere in space. No wonder we call it a spinning space ball monkey. What, how's it go?
A spinning monkey ball.
A spinning space ball monkey religion.
A spinning space ball monkey? No. I call it the spinning space monkey religion.
Spinning space monkey ball-tard religion.
The heliocentric ball-tard spinning space monkey religion.
There we go.
That's what I did. Boy, that was a long time ago. Yeah, that was one of the first ones that I came out with. And from reports that I have, the old timers and the new people, the new idiot ballers, they don't like that very much.
I was just gonna say, I heard that really annoys them.
Yeah, they don't like it. Because it rolls right off the tongue, and it's so it fits like a glove. It encapsulates their this whole fairy tale. It's like I'm in a dream full of dumbasses.
Gosh. Indeed.
Doesn't it feel like that way sometimes? I mean, come on, people.
Yes.
Yeah, come on. Really? You really think that you're on a spinning monkey ball? You really think that? I mean, the television and wiki and, everyone telling you and all the NASA stuff, that's convinced you without a shadow of a doubt you live on a ball-tard. What kind of dumbass are you?
It's not going to stop until parents go into school and start demanding for validation for what they're teaching the children.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you got to stand on your own 2 feet and you don't have to even be hyper sensitive to your surroundings. You just have to be somewhat engaged, think about it. And I can give empathy to people that don't think about it. It was me for most of my life. I never actually thought about it. Right? I'd be perfectly honest with you. I didn't think about it. It never crossed my mind. I was busy doing other stuff. Even in alone time, the question never came to me. I do have an inner voice. It just never. But as soon as somebody said it, and you just half-step your way, not even scrutiny. My definition of scrutiny is probably warp galaxies above other people's degree.
And you refer to the paradigm to get your point across. It's pretty funny that you mentioned that because, I remember, looking up to the sky because I'd love to porch sit and sky gaze and all that stuff. I remember thinking how crazy wild it was that all those stars were planets somewhere far away and stars were suns of other, just thinking that and the vastness of that would blow my mind. But, I may have partaken in some other things that I shouldn't have while I was thinking of all these crazy things. Sure. But yeah, when you really get down to the brass tacks of it, it is absurd to even think that that's what that is.
You're don't know what to say about it anymore. I really don't. Okay. You're kind of waxing philosophical there, but You're just consider this, people. You're surrounded by dumbasses.
Oh man, it is so true. Because it's a little disheartening sometimes, but then you just got to find that it's pretty funny. Like, you got to laugh about it,
You do.
or else it'll drive you insane.
You do. You're right. Yeah. I find myself sometimes. Well, I don't really lie. I just shake my head a lot.
SMH.
God, man. All right. So talking about shaking our heads, we're gonna have to shake our heads with this again. Here, let me pull this up. So it's right where we left off. They were talking about some dumb shit. Right. I can't recall. I didn't find it interesting. Maybe, hopefully, they'll move on quickly. I really don't know I haven't listened to it all. So we're back with John Lennox and Asshat O'Connor. Alex Asshat O'Connor. He has many different names, but these guys have been exposed. They pretend like they're the bourgeoisie intellectuals of our day, but they're kind of dumbasses. And them
SMH.
And they're pretending to be that's what I should have said. The pretense is they're bourgeoisie intellectuals. And in societal eyes, that's what they would be portrayed to be. And the setting and everything lends credence to give account for that. But when you get right down to it, they're dumbasses. I'm sorry. At a basic fundamental level, super dumbasses.
Sasha sent 4.5 billion years time, 66,000 miles per hour, and you are there.
Yes, I am. Now I got to get prepared to listen to this shit. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what topic they're even on. I don't want to do it.
Did you already pre-pull a J?
I did pre-pull. Well, I pulled this up, and they were yakking already because it wouldn't go on pause. So I did go back. I think I did a 5. 2 5s equal J. So yeah, I think I did. Two back arrows, that equals a J. All right. I guess
Doesn't Brian want to get in here and get screamed at every time he opens his mic? Come on, Brian.
Yeah, I liked his summary of what the show was going to be today. It was right on point. Well, for the most, we didn't talk about archery. I want to talk about that right now. Something's pissing me off. So I don't want to talk about that right. I don't feel like being pissed off. But I'm going to get pissed off in like 3 seconds when I turn this video, when I hit play.
Did they forget the biscuits and gravy?
Did who forget?
And the walking tacos?
No. That's coming the 23rd. That's set in stone. That's yeah.
Okay.
This is another one where I shoot the giraffes and stuff. The big giraffe. Remember we talked about that before?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It turns out that there's a chance that we might not be going. I'm going to lose my registration fee also because one of my friends backed out. He shouldn't have backed out, but he did. Disheartening. And I got to break the news to my other friend. See if he texts
It
back.
says who?
No. No, but says who's going to be there on the 23rd for the biscuits and gravy and the walking tacos and the taters. No, my other buddy hasn't. He's going to be. He's not going to be happy. I'm going to tell you that right now. He doesn't know. Going to know. So I might have to go a little bit early, depending on when he texts me. But besides that, all right, let's get into this. At least say something coherent, so I don't have to. Just ease us into this, John. All right, let me check the volume here so I can hear these numpties. Let's take it up to 3. Why doesn't it go to 3? Why does it skip 3? Why is that? You see that? What if I put -3? Will it go there? Minus 3.0. Will it do it? Yeah, it did it. Look at that. All right. Here we go.
There's a lovely story where my father,
It's a lovely story.
when I was about 14, gave me a book. And I said, "What is it, Dad?" He said, "It's the Communist Manifesto."
Oh boy.
I wasn't ready for that, right? I was ready. You know, Hansel and Gretel or something, you know, maybe something.
Oh no. It's the
coffee-
freaking Communist Manifesto.
I was waiting for like a coffee table book or something, right? No, but he
wait a
has to
second.
come out heavy hitting.
Not at 14. I thought Birds and the Bees or something.
That kind of threw me. That was a good one.
Who gives a 14-year-old the Communist Manifesto? What the heck?
Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good one, John. Thanks for. I needed a little bit of a laugh. That is a good one. Okay, let's see what happens.
I said, "Have you read it?" He said, "No." Well, why should I read it? And I'll never forget his answer, because you need to know what other people think. That was a very enlightened view for a father in Northern Ireland
Yeah.
in that period of time.
Yes.
And I owe a lot to my parents, because they presented the Bible to me as intellectually exciting.
Mhm.
It got me into history. It got me into archaeology. It got me into evidence.
Archaeology, that's pseudoscience. Evidence? What evidence does archaeology have?
It was far from boring, and it certainly wasn't bigoted in any way. And I'm very grateful for that, because the moment I got to Cambridge, it gave me the opportunity to meet people who didn't share my worldview. And I've been meeting them ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really a brief bit of my background. But it was encountering.
Did he read the Communist Manifesto? Did he say that he read it?
Well, he implied that he did, because he was saying that, why should I read it if you haven't?
Yeah.
But his reason, or the reason that was given to him, was you need to know what everyone else thinks. But then he went into how he read the Bible too, which I get excited about reading the Bible as well. It does get you into history and, you know, just things like that.
Sure.
And
Well, I didn't mean to
the 2 or 3 witnesses and that thing. Yeah.
I didn't mean to poo-poo archaeology. I just meant archaeology is not a science, but there are archaeological discoveries pertaining to Scripture that are quite eye-opening.
Agreed.
We won't go into all that right here, but I can understand what he's saying. Okay, yeah, I was on my archaeology pseudoscience stuff, which it is, but it's quite interesting. Trying to bounce Scripture off archaeology. There's a lot of astounding items. Super archaeology.
Sensual Goat sent, I just received a rebuttal to the Black Swan. It's in Master B. I'd be very grateful for a personalized response.
Really? We want to do that now? We're not dead into this just yet.
If you want to, where is it at?
All right, I gotta go to Master B.
It's in Master B.
All right, hold on a second. Oh, I gotta go into Teams. Like chewing glass shards. All right.
I don't know, Liam. It just says image for me. It doesn't show anything.
Oh, really, Master
I
B?
did the same thing.
I got something. All right, hold on. Okay, let's put it on. I got it. I didn't look at the second. We'll look at the second one next. Is that big? See, you can't. Can you make it big? Yeah, you can scroll in and out. There you go. Okay. I think everyone can read it. If not, this is from Josh C. Firstly, that's a long story. I'm not even going to go there. Firstly, you've assumed the height of the observer at 1 foot. That we didn't assume it. It shows it in the video. In fact, he's not even 1 foot. I think Bo told me he was like 8 inches. He measured it at 8 inches. We just averaged it out to a foot. Just go to the darn video. It shows the camera looking at the water splashing up on a damn lens, dude.
Right. It shows him get down, like on his belly in the video.
Oh, this is piss week. So you're firstly assumed horse shit. This is nonsense. Secondly, we got secondly, then thirdly. What about fourthly? No, not fourthly. Secondly, if you are going to do mathematical calculations, all measurements must be converted and standardized, and you can't be measuring the observer height in feet and distance to the horizon in miles. Is he retarded? That's
Yes.
yes. This is retarded. It makes no sense. Do I have to do the thirdly? Because he's an abject retard from the first two statements. They're absolutely clueless. Thirdly, to approximate 4 observer heights, we didn't approximate, that are much smaller than the radius of the sphere. Where'd you get the radius from? What is to approximate for observer heights that are much smaller than the radius of the sphere? Use the formula d equals the square root 2 RH, where d is the distance to the horizon along the surface in the same units as r. What? R is the radius of a spherical body, and h is the height of the observer above the surface. We use the formula because this guy's a moron, dude. This is not even a rebuttal to anything. He's not even in the vicinity. So do we got another? I think we got another one. This one. Okay. I guess this is fourthly. The observed size in quotation marks difference. The observed size difference is best expressed as the ratio of apparent sizes. What is he talking about? Is he talking about the oil rigs?
I guess so.
The observed size difference is best expressed as the ratio of apparent sizes. That's quite interesting. As absolute angular differences are less intuitive. He's abject. This is like listening to Mr. Magoo give the keynote address at a metabolic pathway convention. He's a moron. I'm done with this. We good? Good, I can get out of Teams. Thanks for that, Sensual Goat, but I'm not dealing with that. Now, exit. This means exit. When I hit the X. Okay, back again. Thanks, Liam. That was a lot of fun. Did you guys get anything out of that was coherent? Or is it just
No.
me? Is it
I
just
got totally
it's like-
confused.
Yeah, it's the guy wants you just to go ahead and assume the radius. And I don't know. It's something like that.
You got that out of that? No.
A little bit.
Much worse than that.
Yeah, it was worse. It was very weirdly put, but I think just like, give me the ball.
Yeah,
That's what
whatever.
he was asking.
He's a glue sniffer. All right, back to John. Has anyone, you guys on the panel, have you read the Communist Manifesto?
I have not. Maybe I should.
Neil?
No, but I read parts of what's his name's manifesto, the Unabomber.
I'm not talking about that. Who out there in chat has read the Communist Manifesto? I would like to know. Give a 1 if you read it. Just give one. You know, if you didn't read it, you just don't say anything. Let's do it that way. So give a 1 if anyone's read the Communist Manifesto. Even a part of it. I'll take a part of it. If you read part of it, that you still get a 1.
Who's the author? Karl Marx?
Let's look.
I mean, he's the one that promoted
Communist
that stuff, right?
Manifesto. Let's do the author. Get right to brass tacks. Is communist authors Marx and Engels. I heard of this guy before. Yeah.
Oh, so Marx is part of it. Okay.
Oh, definitely. As soon as you said it, yeah. Yep, a political pamphlet. It was a pamphlet written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It was commissioned by the Communist League and published in London in 1848. Damn. Got some images of it? Well, yeah, looks like a pamphlet. What's the first page say? Oh, by the way, I've never read the Communist Manifesto. Let's go back. I thought I seen images over here. Go back like I friggin' said. Damn.
Now, if it's just a pamphlet, then if you've at all started reading it, you should have finished it.
Here we go. Preface. The manifesto was published as the platform of the Communist League. Is this like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? A working man's association, first exclusively German, later on international, and under the political conditions of the continent before 1848. Unavoidably a secret society. Uh-oh. All right, I'm not reading that preface. Give me the... Where does it start? Reprinted several times, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? What is this? Oh, there. Is this the start? It looks like it. The Manifesto of the Communist Party. You never know what direction we're gonna go on these shows. Let's read a little bit. A spectra is haunting Europe. The spectra of communism. All the powers of old Europe have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise this specter. Pope and Tsar, Metternich, and Guzat, French radicals, and German police spies. Oh, this is interesting. Where is the party in opposition that has not been decried as communistic by its opponents in power? What's that little symbol right there? I've seen that before. Who knows?
It's a question mark.
That's not a question mark.
Yeah, it is. It's where is the party in opposition that has not been decried as communistic by its opponents in power? It's a question.
Yeah, it's a question, but I'm talking about the punctuation mark. Hold on a second. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Is there a space in there? All right, don't worry about it. Yeah,
I see question mark. What the heck?
I can't see it all that well.
Oh yeah, you are old.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my eyes are getting worse. I gotta go get it. I gotta get an eye appointment. I think my prescription might have changed slightly. Where the opposition that has not hurled back the branding reproach of communism against the more advanced opposition parties, as well as against its reactionary adversaries. Two things result from this fact. One, communism is already acknowledged by all European powers to be itself a power. You got to love that. But number two, it is high time. I like that. That's nice. It is high time that communists should openly, in the face of the whole world, publish their views, their aims, their tendencies, and meet this nursery tale of the specter of communism with a manifesto of the party itself, baby. To this end. I like that. It is high time and to this end. Those are two statements I thoroughly enjoy reading. To this end, communists of various nationalities have assembled in London and sketched. What am I reading? In London and sketched the following manifesto to be published in the English, French, German, Italian, Flemish, and Danish languages. The bourgeoisie and the proletarian. See, that's where I get that shit from. Even though I haven't read it. We're not reading this.
Proletarian, working class?
The bourgeoisie and the proletarians. What was your question?
Proletarian, what is that, like a working class?
Yeah, that's your stamp on working, yeah. Yeah, the bourgeoisie is here. There's the bourgeoisie right here. That's too funny that bourgeoisie came up in this. Well, I knew it came from it, but there's a lot of... never mind. All right, I'm not reading any more of this. This looks like a little color commentary and not the actual tenets. All right. Well, there's a little piece of it. If anyone asks you, again, if you ever read the Communist Manifesto, even a part of it, you can say yes.
Well, it says the core... this is really quick. The core ideas of the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, centers on the historical inevitability of class struggles and the eventual overthrow of capitalism by the working class. It argues that capitalism inherently creates inequality and exploitation, leading to a revolution where the working class will establish a communist society. That's it.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Damn commies. All right, back to the bourgeoisie. You got to stay on your toes. You don't know where we're going to go next.
God, the fact that I could get to know God as a personal God who would give me certain basic things that I knew I needed even as a young lad. And the first was peace with God, forgiveness, knowing I had a relationship. And as I look around young people today, and I feel I've got to mention this and use it in view of the stuff we hear in the news all the time, young people looking for belonging, looking for meaning in life, looking for a purpose. You see, I found all of those things in my relationship with Christ very young, when I was about 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, the rest of life, 70 years after that, I'm still exploring that relationship. There's a lot of mystery to it, but there's been a lot of reality.
Is he saying he's 80 years old?
That's what I gather.
Huh. He looks like he's 80.
Okay.
Reality to it where God, I believe, has proved himself, his existence, his reality, his involvement in my life, way beyond philosophical and intellectual arguments.
There are no arguments. What's an argument? I haven't heard a single argument since I've been out here against the existence of God. I mean, an actual argument, I haven't heard one.
But in the business of everyday life.
Yes.
And that seems to me to be a very important dimension.
Oh, yeah. I like to remind people that the whole project of...
That you're an atheist retard, right? Is that... You don't need to remind people that. You're an umpty dipshit, dude.
Of what they call natural theology, which is arguments for the existence of God,
yes.
The Kalam cosmological argument, this kind. A lot of people, and I think...
What is the Kalam cosmological argument? Let's hear it.
Particularly atheists mistake that very specific...
Did he say atheist? Let me go back. I think I ran over him. Go back.
The Kalam cosmological argument, this kind. A lot of people, and I think particularly atheists...
Yeah, he did say atheist. What's that? What's atheist? Define that. So I know if when you define it, and I know if I see somebody displaying those tenets, that they're an atheist.
Well, I looked up the Kalam cosmological argument. It's a philosophical argument for the existence of God, particularly known for its focus on the universe's beginning and its cause.
Yeah, I know what it is. What's his name? Had run with that for some time. What the heck is his name?
William Lane Craig.
Yeah, that's it.
Mistake that very specific kind of thought for religious thought as a whole.
Yes.
And believe that that is sort of the approach.
Well, you know what religious thought is. You're steeped in it. You're Evo Tardia. That's a religious. So you could probably speak on this subject.
Appropriate methodology through which everyone should engage with the subject material. And I like to remind people that most people don't believe in God because of an argument.
Most people don't believe in. Yeah. How can. That doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Because they're without excuse.
Yep.
Because the creation is evidence enough for.
See, I was thinking that. I was thinking
the creator.
that from the. I was thinking that from the beginning. I was all over Romans 1:20.
Arguments are sustaining, or they give you justification for your beliefs, but the belief itself came through some.
Justification for beliefs. Now, think about this. A belief is to accept something without evidence. And you need a justification for your belief without evidence. For your acceptance without evidence. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, because I've been hearing the term justified true belief.
Oh, yeah.
That was
train wrecked decades and decades ago by Gettier. Go ahead and look it up. Gettier. Gettier, something like that. Look that up and look at his art. He just trashed that friggin' paradoxical, justified true belief horseshit. This is old news. This is like listening to like Flat Earth from 2016. That's what this is. This is like. It's nonsense.
Kind of experience. That's time and time again. The only person I can think of as a counterexample to this might be Anthony Flew, who...
Anthony Flew, a dedicated atheist for years and years and years and years and years, and he was seething atheist, and then all of a sudden one day turned on a dime. Why? Genetics. He turned on a dime. So look up Anthony Flew. Interesting character.
Says that he was convinced by various arguments, I think involving free will and things, but...
No, it wasn't. It was genetics.
For most people, it's an experience, and I think that's perfectly legitimate. And
well, Anthony Flew, by the way, whom I knew towards the end of his life, and I asked him about this. It was a specific argument that convinced...
I'll bet you. Yeah, come with it.
Which one was it?
It was the argument I've mentioned about the language-like nature of DNA.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. See,
yes, he knows his stuff.
This Alex asshat O'Clown, he's such a pretender clown dumbass. He didn't even know that. He's speaking on a talk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That glue sniffer
surface
over
puker.
Here. Say again?
He's a surface puker.
Yeah, he's a superficial surface puker.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit redundant, but...
So he doesn't even read half the book?
No. These aren't books, by the way. These are props.
It's very interesting. I suddenly got the opportunity he was in high old age, not long before his death, to visit him in his home. And I asked him about this. I said, what was it? Well, he said, this argument seemed to me to be conclusive and seemed to be where the evidence led. And if people didn't like it, they could lump it, you see. So he came to believe in God. He became a theist or a deist, I think, technically speaking. And then the amusing thing to my mind is he wrote a book with N.T. Wright, and he got N.T. Wright to write about the Christian evidence for God as part of that book. But he had come to the conclusion, and I remembered very well the conversation because of its honesty. I asked him, what about the objections to Christianity that you've used all your life against miracles?
To be clear for our listeners, Anthony Flew is a at the time, especially like quite well-known atheist professor who had sort of made a career at this point out of, in part, arguing about God's existence and was famed for his atheism.
He was a professor at Reading who was a world authority on David Hume. And who regarded miracles of the type of the Bible as violations of the law of nature, and they couldn't.
What a dumbass. These people are, I told you, you're surrounded by dumbasses everywhere. That is the most ridiculous, one of the most ridiculous statements I think I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm just gobsmacked of the utter ignorance of these people. Now he's just reporting on David Hume and then Anthony Flew, but I think that he thinks that it's like a serious position. I mean, those are the two ontological primitives. They're on opposite sides of each other. Did they even understand that? I'll bet you they don't. They, as in him and Hume.
And therefore occur. And what he said to me when I asked him about that, he said, I was wrong about Flew. That's something for a philosopher to say at the end of his life.
He said, I was wrong about Flew.
Flew. Oh, sorry.
Jesus.
He said, I was wrong about Hume. All my writing about Hume would have to be rewritten, but I'll never live to do it. I thought it was very touching, actually. In other words, Hume's analysis of miracles is false, and that's another matter altogether about which I've written. But yes, it was the DNA, the language-like nature of DNA, and I think Stephen Meyer mentions that in one of his books somewhere.
Yes, it's certainly picked up steam, I think, in the popular apologetic space as well as of late.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right in the sense that you meet relatively few people for whom the intellectual argument was at the top. Alistair McGrath might be another person who was challenged.
I don't know this person.
Intellectually. He came up here as an atheist.
Here, let's do that again. I want to see his reaction, his overreaction to this. Look at him.
Argument was at the top. Alistair McGrath might be another person.
Look at his eyes.
It's like you're not convincing me that you actually know what he's talking about, but you didn't earlier either, but whatever.
Yeah, too funny. What a pretender clown.
Who was challenged intellectually. He came up here as an atheist.
Yes.
To Oxford. And I think I don't do him an injustice. He started to investigate. I have met a number of people like that, but as you say, they are relatively few.
Yes. And also it kind of feels as though, I like to imagine if Christianity were true, what might I expect?
What might you expect?
Christianity is true.
Yeah, right.
And I suppose what I would kind of expect is for God to meet you where you're at, which means that if you are of that kind of mindset,
He'd meet you there.
Exactly. But I think the point that you made before, which is important to stress, is that you might find...
Why would he meet you where you're at?
No, God meets you at the cross. That's it.
He couldn't meet you anywhere else.
He does meet you where you're at, Neil.
Meet you at your cross.
Oh, come on. Let's move on.
Find God at the bottom of the microscope, but it...
Shut up, Neil.
Would be unreasonable to suspect that you have to.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what this does, I think a lot of people don't realize, is it creates an intellectual barrier for entry to relationship with God, which...
What does?
If Christianity is true, that simply...
That doesn't make any sense.
Can't be the case.
Yes, it sets the bar far too high.
Yes.
And makes it simply an intellectual process.
Well, really, any bar is too high if you're talking about something like intellectual understanding.
I agree.
Right? And, I mean, there's going to be a...
What are these two bozos talking about? Anyone? I don't know.
Bar in terms of what you have to do, what you have to sacrifice, the relationship, the time you have to spend, all of this. But in terms of intellectual input, it would be far too exclusionary, I think, to say that this was a requirement of belief in God.
And I have a stunning example of that.
Uh-huh.
The man...
Can't wait for this. I don't know what they're talking about.
...that married us 56 years ago was an ex-fairground heavyweight boxer of the type who went to a fairground and faced open challenge. And if you beat him, you got some money and so on. That sort of chap.
Right.
Tough, absolutely tough, uneducated, couldn't read or write. And at the age of 19, he was in a pub and all the guys were there, and a very small Salvation Army lady came in with the magazine, War Cry it's called, and he looked at her and he said, "Missy," and he lifted her with one hand and stood her on the bar. And he said, "Missy, if you sing for us, all these men will buy your war cry." Just imagine the situation.
I'm kind of lost.
Me too.
She did. And he, through that, started to think about Christianity and very soon became a Christian.
I'm not getting it. Anyone else getting it? Where's Adam when you need him?
And went and sat with primary school kids to learn to read and write. Now, can you imagine that? Now, when I met him, he was a veteran preacher. He's the only man that I've ever met that could give you a summary by heart of every chapter in the Bible. Absolutely phenomenal. And I thought, when I was a student at Cambridge, it would be interesting to bring him in amongst a bunch of very clever young people. And he came in, and I'll never forget what happened to my college, Emmanuel in Cambridge. And he gave a talk, lunchtime, short talk. Very alliterative, very simple, very down to earth. And there was a theology student, very cynical, sitting on the floor. And I can see it now. He looked up and he said, "Well, Mr. Ford, what about the parable of the sheep and the goats?" And Stan Ford, that was his name, was very polite, and he said, "Well, young sir, not everybody in this room may be familiar with the parable of the sheep and the goats, so tell it to us." So this chap started to splutter and mentioned a couple of lines of it, and without batting an eyelid, Stanford finished the entire parable. And the cheering, and they loved him. And he used to come regularly to Cambridge because here was a living example of what God can do to a person. It changed his life completely.
Good.
I think I understand what they've been talking about, like where they wanted to preface it with God meets you where you're at. And you don't need to be an intellectual to figure it out, that you can be any simpleton to figure it out.
Sure. Yeah, I got it, but it's a long, twisted tale to get there. Why didn't they just say that?
Completely. And he had a profound influence. So my wife and I invited him, she wasn't my wife then, to conduct our wedding. And those kind of examples where God meets people where they're at have been hugely important in my life. The intellectual side has been important because it's what you said is beautifully correct. That is one of the biggest evidences for God is meeting people where they're at. And I think that for me is a conclusive thing as I look back at my life. And I've been trying to record this in my autobiography. Where are the places where I really think that there's evidence for God beating me where I'm at?
I'd really like to know then why it is that in the popular imagination, this assumption has developed that intellectualism, scientists and philosophers and the academy is sort of tied up with atheism.
Well, because they're morons, and they're not actual scientists and philosophers. They're dumbasses like you.
That, you know, once you become a bit intellectual and you start learning about stuff.
That's not you.
And if you actually read the Bible, oh, you'll be talked out of all of that. We've already talked about how you think that's like just untrue, but then why that association in the popular mind?
That, I think, is a complex question to which there are several different answers that one can think of immediately. First of all, in this country, there has been media bias, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There's much more communication of atheism. Secondly, there's
communication of atheism. What's an atheist? Can somebody communicate that to me? And then we can move on from there. That'd be fair.
In our recent lifetimes, the so-called New Atheist movement, which is picked up.
It's a new. Now we have new atheists. We haven't defined what an atheist is. Now we got new. We're going to put some adjectives in front of it. You know, like evolution, like micro and macro. Just throw some adjectives in front of it. Everything will be okay. That's clowns.
Begging the question.
Not even. I guess you could call it begging the question to what?
Just going ahead and assuming these things that aren't defined?
Assuming what?
These things that aren't defined.
Assuming things that aren't defined. That's nonsensical.
People, I feel. And if you want to trace that back, you're going back to the Enlightenment in a way, forgetting the evil side of the Enlightenment and just sticking with the intellectual side.
What did they get enlightened with in the Enlightenment? Who was enlightened?
And also the idea that is either consciously or unconsciously perpetuated.
Unconsciously? Did somebody knock them out? You mean subconsciously, not unconsciously. What's that, baby? Hey, you're not doing anything when you're unconscious. My wife started laughing when she heard it too.
It is pretty funny.
All right. We'll forgive him for that.
By some scientists that science.
Scientists and science. What is natural science, John? And what makes a scientist a scientist?
Is the only way to truth, which we call.
That's stupid. It's a moronic statement right off the cuff. Science and natural science, it only deals with natural cause and effect relationships. There's so many other categories. It's just a nonsensical statement that tells me that these people don't know what natural science is. Period. That's what it tells you. This is Do 7 offsuit. The things that they say.
Scientism.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's scientism?
A number of people around here that believe that. Peter Atkins, whom I've debated several.
Peter Atkins, I know that dumbass. That name rings a bell. He is, I can just see him. He is the pinnacle of a moron, this Peter Atkins. That's why this guy's laughing.
Several times, and you must know very well.
Yeah, I bet.
Holds to that view. And to my mind, it's almost amusingly false, because the statement "science is the only way to truth" is not a statement of science, and therefore, if it's true, it's false.
It's not only that. I mean, yeah, that's true, but before you even get there, it's so stupid to say. Oh man, this is going to be a rough one.
It's logically incoherent, but that impression has been given. And
well, that impression can be given because very few people actually know what natural science even means. That's why the impression can be given. Duh! Because if people knew what actual natural science was, then there wouldn't be a false impression to give of it because everyone would know it's false. Next block of instruction, how to sit down and point at a friggin' horse.
I can't explain it any more than perhaps there's also an element of the zeitgeist where the culture is at.
Yeah.
And disgust with some of the aspects of public Christianity.
Mm.
And, you know, the country I come from, Ireland, but also here, the
shout out to Brian.
Number of scandals.
Yep.
And people often say to me, well, you know, how could you be a Christian, you coming from Ireland with all the fighting there was, let alone the moral scandals? And I think that's a real question. And my response to it is, and I talked to Christopher Hitchens at great length about this, and he took the point in the end.
Did he take the point? Really? Did he even understand the point? Christopher Hitchens. I don't think he understood your point.
Is that well, what I said to Christopher, I said, Christopher, I don't understand you, because if you'd really understood what Jesus said and said to the religious rogues that were around him, you'd be on his side, not fighting against him. Because all your objections to bad religion, I share. And Christ criticized them. And I said, you know, you talk about Christianity being cause for war. Well, that was what Christ was put on trial for, that he was promoting terrorism. And Pilate declared him innocent because, and here's the interesting thing, that I remember discussing with Christopher.
Did somebody want to say something? Is that it?
I'm not sure, but just on a comment on what he's saying right now is that he wasn't put on trial for terrorism. Wasn't even close. He was put on trial for blasphemy.
Sorry, I was texting. I got lost there. Thanks for correcting it.
Very
I'm
clearly,
still texting, by the way.
I said, you know, Pilate was threatened by any threat to Rome. And was Jesus a king who was trying to overthrow him politically? And Jesus' answer was, well, I am a king, but not in the sense you mean. To this end, I was born, to this end I came into the world, that I might bear witness to the truth. And Pilate said, what is truth? And went out and said, Jesus is innocent, because he was bright enough to see what most of us can see, that the one thing you cannot do by force and violence is impose truth, especially if it's truth about salvation, peace with God, forgiveness, a new life, and all this kind of thing.
Yes.
And therefore, the thing that answers it is, and I'm very strong on this, that my fellow countrymen who took up arms, whether on Protestant or Catholic side, to defend Christ and his message are not Christian, because they're disobeying what Christ said, not following him.
Yes.
And I think that makes a lot of confusion, and has done in the past. And another thing I often say, well, the existence of false coinage doesn't prove that the real stuff doesn't exist, but may make it hard to find. But as you will have noticed, I see encouraging signs on the horizon, because many young people...
On the horizon?
I'm going to look one last.
Hey!
There's one up on the shelf.
Mikey, you are hot micing.
Get back to what he's... Oh, I have to have that up. Go back.
Doesn't prove that the real stuff doesn't exist, but may make it hard to find. But as you will have noticed, I see encouraging signs on the horizon, because many young people, particularly in Gen Alpha, are...
How do you have a horizon on a ball tart? He's using it metaphorically, though.
Beginning to come back and be interested in God and exploring these questions, not so much against the background of what science says or doesn't say.
What does science say? Did anyone ever hear science say anything?
I sure would like to hear that one day.
But against the much more cultural background of meaning and purpose in life. And that heartens me. I find that immensely encouraging.
The focus has shifted. And I think, there was some, I think.
What focus has shifted? Focus on what? I don't know.
Was it the Bible Society that just released a study about young people going back to church at a quite incredible increase of people? And it wasn't. I think the thing that surprised me was not just that people were beginning to like believe in God again or something, but to attend church.
Yes,
which is quite a thing in itself. I mean, I agree with people like Justin Brierley when they say that, I don't know if the statistics bear this out, but I can kind of feel something in the air. You know, like the conversation shifting a little bit.
Yes.
And I was sort of like, okay, I can...
What conversation? Now we got a focus shifting and the conversation shifting. Where is it shift? What? Huh?
Feel that
about
too.
God
but
existing.
About God's existence.
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah, he's making the point that Gen Alpha is actually coming to Christianity at an alarming rate, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what he's saying. It could be.
Church attendance is going up. I think that's quite an important indicator.
Quite an important indicator of what? That young people are getting interested in the Lord? All right.
These discussions, I agree. The important question is, like, with Christianity, Jesus. And for me, it's quite straightforward, as I feel like it might be for you too, in that if somebody says, well, what about this thing that these Christians did?
Who gives a shit? Who cares? What does that have to do with anything? First, prove they're Christians, right? I don't know. This is making no sense to me.
The question is whether Christianity is true. Then the question is wholly, would Jesus have condoned or commanded such a thing? And if the answer is no,
commanded what thing?
No, then it's not an objection at all. But the fear that someone like Christopher Hitchens has is that
the fear of what he had was the fear of coherency. That was his fear. He never got within hand grenade range of it.
That the kind of certainty that comes along with that conviction, which, as you've just explained, like when somebody has a religious experience, that is what...
Like you would have constantly with your Evo Tardia. So you could speak on this topic, this particular topic, religion.
Compels them, and it happens in a way that is indescribable and is immune to any kind of scientific or philosophical inquiry.
What the hell?
But that certainty can then spill over into areas where it doesn't belong, such as certainty on doctrine, certainty on moral practices specific to our current time that weren't...
this moral stuff.
What?
He's all over the place. He's bouncing off the walls. It doesn't even matter. This is big nothing burger. It's directionless nothingness. That's all this is. I find it hard to even keep track of them. I want to do so. I want to like just stare at a wall or something. I'm losing my focus.
discussed by Jesus, for example. And I think that's the kind of fear that he had. And you've debated these people. You've debated, I think you in a way, you were an important part of the new atheist movement as one of the key figures in opposition. You've debated at this Oxford Union. I should mention, we are filming this in the Oxford Union, who have...
That's suspect. That's suspect. Yeah, you don't have to tell us that's suspect. Now, I'm even more convinced now. This is all props.
But he can't even have morality. He's an atheist, whatever that is. He can't even have that. He can only have his preferences.
Huh.
Very gracefully lent us this wonderful Goodman library. They're currently fundraising for a restoration project of...
Oh my God, gag me with a boon. Really? What's the rug made out of?
Some beautiful paintings they have at the top of their old library. So for people listening, there's going to be a link in the description for a fundraiser to help keep this...
Yeah, here we go, right off topic again on another incoherent tangent, because he's got Due 7 offsuit. This guy's a moron, ladies and gentlemen.
Wonderful building and
wonderful.
This institution of debate.
It's so wonderful. It's a wonderful
discussion
building.
In
That's what I say all the time. This is just a wonderful building.
Action.
Why didn't he expound?
Go ahead.
Sorry, he's just going. Why is he talking about this? They were talking about some new atheist movement and how this guy John Lennox is a key figure as opposing it.
Sure.
Why couldn't we expound on that a little bit?
Well, he can't keep focused. He can't do it because there's a caper-sized piece of horse shit right there between his ears. That's why.
It's in the description.
And he's got Due 7 offsuit, so he has to go off on directionless, rambling topics. He has to do that. Because there's no way that he can sit down and have an intellectual discussion with anyone.
Well, I was wondering if he was talking about, like, Christianity doesn't belong in the discussion of morality. Like, what kind of statement is that? Maybe that's not what he meant. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding.
That's a good possibility.
You've debated in the chamber across the way. You've debated Christopher Hitchens. You've debated Richard Dawkins.
He hasn't debated anyone. He's had discussions with them, not debates. You don't debate objective reality, son. It's a complete category error. Just an idiot.
What, like,
use your words.
What do you think was going on with new atheism? Why?
I don't know. First define atheism and then define how it's new. And then maybe we can venture a guess or speculation as to what was going on then.
Why was that something that was so popular? And why was it so difficult for someone like Christopher Hitchens to see that all of his...
Well, because he's a moron.
Criticisms were journalistic. They were about religion as an institution.
Religion as an institution like evolution? Was he talking about that?
On Earth. And what would you say to quell his concerns?
Quell what concerns? Is this some type of an argument against the existence of God? Glue sniffer. No, it's just rambling nothing burger.
That it is that religious impulse that
you would know about that. Like I said, you could speak to this evolution impulse, religious impulse that you have. And certainly Christopher Hitchens did.
Experience that somebody knows they have God on their side that gives them the license to do all kinds of evil.
Yes. Looking back...
Gives them license to do evil.
That doesn't even make sense.
No. Yeah, that caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that. That's what it's like having an abacus. Just spin it as to what the next thing that's going to come out of this retard's mouth. Not John's. At the moment, we're talking about asshat or clowner.
Alex, I wish I'd had more time with Hitchens. I liked Hitchens.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was an abject moron from the get-go. All hat, no substance. I could tear his.
We couldn't.
I'd just shake my head at his friggin' dumbass arguments.
We couldn't tell you felt that way.
Oh my God, Hitchens! They worship atheists and evotards. Worship Hitchens, who is a complete ass clown, like the brother over here. Do yourself a favor. Well, maybe not a favor. Pull up some of Christopher Hitchens' discussions with people. You see what I mean? He was all bravado, all hat, no cattle. His arguments were no better than that of a clumsy child. You don't believe me? Go ahead and pull some. We might do this on this channel. That's not a half bad idea.
Was it behind a smirk?
Oh, he had all kind of, yeah. He had all kind of those. Yeah. Didn't help. I never, of course, you can't help but pay attention, but I listened intently. Obviously. That's what I do.
So you can rip them to shreds.
With no effort. I can do it in a coma.
Answering your question is difficult because I sense its thrust and its power, actually.
Power?
Because it seems to me a very valid thing that certainty can become what I call fundamentalist certainty, and I think that's what you're referring to, where people are so certain.
So certain of what?
That their receptors are completely closed to anything else.
Right.
And
what, like water at rest is flat, horizontal? Like, is that fundamental certainty? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I'm fundamentally certain that water at rest is flat. Absolutely flat. So I guess I'm fundamentally certain. Unbelievable. Don't get big.
That justifies almost any kind of behavior.
What?
And that's appalling. And I asked myself, what has saved me from that? Because as I sit talking to you, I have that sense of certainty of my relationship with God. I think what has helped me immensely in life is that I've been very privileged to, how shall I put it? I've been prepared for the last 70 years or more to be vulnerable. In other words, I'm always prepared to question what I believe. And I have seen in my life the sadness that comes about when people become fundamentalist in any direction. And I was very honoured to be invited by the British Academy some years ago to give a lecture on, wait for it, scientific fundamentalism.
Why would you give a lecture on that when you're not a scientist? Or are you looking outside giving color commentary of scientific fundamental, whatever that is?
Which I think is a much better expression than scientism.
Okay.
Science is the only way to truth. And
we've been already over this dumbass ground.
What fascinated me that day...
Fascinated? What? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I'll give him a break because he's getting older. That's one of his favorite words, though, fascinated. But I think he mispronounced it.
Science is the only way to truth. And what fascinated me that day...
Yeah, he did.
I was terrified, going into the British Academy and all the academicians there and so on, was the positive response was absolutely amazing. The talk was eventually published in a book. But I've always been afraid of that. I suppose because I was brought up in a culture where my own family suffered bombing because of that kind of attitude. My father ran a business, and just your listeners and people watching this will be interested to know that in a country where there's huge tension between Catholics and Protestants that was fomented by a lot of extremists on both sides, my dad employed equally, as far as he could, Protestants and Catholics in his shop in the center of one of the most difficult towns in the country.
Man, we're off the reservation here. How'd we get here? All right.
And because of that,
Say again?
I just laughed. I chuckled, but it's because he's trying to, apologize for people proclaiming to be Christian and going and being or doing heinous things in the name of Christianity.
Right. Huh. That's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Yes.
I guess that means God doesn't exist.
I said, Dad, this is really dangerous. Why do you do it? And I'll never forget his answer. He said, son, Scripture teaches us that every man and woman, irrespective of what they believe, is made in the image of God, and I intend to treat them like that. Now, that was amazing. That and the fact that they let me think were two of the biggest things they could have given me. But that as a moral guide has been very important to me in life. In other words, translating it, I can learn from everybody. And when I arrived in Cambridge, week number 1, I looked around looking for someone who did not share my background. And I've been doing it ever since. And I think, and it might sound arrogant to say this, but I think the way in which God helped save me from that kind of cocksuredness that legitimizes any
cocksuredness about what?
Behavior is that I'm constantly prepared to listen, seriously listen, to people that don't share my worldview. And so when I debated the people you've mentioned, I prepared.
Them. You didn't debate them. You had fancy discussions with them.
I read all their books so far as I could and thought through how seriously am I to take this. And I think my confidence, and I prefer to use the word confidence than being cocksure, has grown because of those exposures. But I'm still ready at the age of 81 to take the argument seriously because many other people are facing...
What argument? Take what argument seriously? What's the argument?
These arguments and discussions. And
now we got arguments and discussions. So they rapidly replicated and changed phase.
My little contribution, I think, to the debate is to show that...
You didn't debate anyone.
There's another side. And I remember the little story about Richard Dawkins that may interest you. The first...
We got all kind of little stories here. What about Richard Dawkins? Did he finally open a Cracker Jack box on his own? Is that what they didn't enjoy?
First debate we did in Alabama.
You didn't do... Oh, shit. Oh,
shout out to me.
Number one, it wasn't a debate, and what the hell were they doing in Alabama? Let's get that back there.
That's a good question.
That was a surprise.
It is in the Bible Belt, so.
Yeah.
Story about Richard Dawkins that may interest you. The first debate we did in Alabama, of all places.
Yeah.
Of all places. Yeah. He's got a little
What's that supposed to mean?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Look at asshat. He's got a little shit-eating grin on his face. So what does that mean? Of all places, a bit more.
He at the beginning.
I guess we're not going to get any.
We were chatting together, and he said, I don't debate. And I said, well,
yeah. Well, there isn't a debate. It's not a debating topic, duh.
Any consolation, I'd never done a debate before.
And you've never done one since.
I said, what I'm going to try to do is to put before the public what I feel is a rational answer to your atheist viewpoint. And
what's an atheist? And then we can reconcile whether the viewpoint's coherent. But we need to know what that thing is first. Make sense?
Then leave it to the public to decide.
They can't decide if you don't define the monkey.
And his answer was, I'll buy that. Let's go. So that's what we did. And I think that's the attitude I want to preserve.
Yes.
In days where people are being no-platformed and university students are afraid of hearing new ideas, I want to say, look, one of the things about Christianity is it allows people to think and to form their own opinions. And I want to be part of that debate. But I want...
What debate?
To justify you also being part of that debate, even though you disagree with me.
This isn't a disagree-agree genre. That's subjective. This is an objective discussion, isn't it? It's about the existence of God. You see this? God exists. I think you two guys lost the plot. Probably lost it back here at the first minute and a half mark.
And that's what I understand to be the true nature of tolerance. To tolerate a person is to disagree with them, but support them in...
Yeah, I support them.
Them having a public space. We're in danger of losing that, I think.
Yeah, well, I think my success in talking to Christians, for example...
Do you have successes with talking with people? What's the success? What does that even mean? What? Huh?
Correlates with both.
Now we got correlation
of our abilities in that conversation.
In what conversation?
To ignore our confidence and
to ignore your confidences. This makes perfect sense.
To sort of treat everything as if it could be false, because
sort of or actually treat everything as if it's false. He needs to be institutionalized. I mean, not this institution. I mean, an actual mental institution. I mean, you guys over there in England, I feel sorry for you. Where's your helmet? And speaking of helmets, you guys driving around the streets with this guy driving, you better hope he doesn't drive. I don't know how you do it. You must be fearful or seriously medicated.
Hitchens was right.
Hitchens was never right in his life. He was a moron. I can demonstrate it easily.
There is a lot of arrogance and certainty and
arrogance and certainty. To be certain about something isn't arrogant. What does arrogant mean? What does certainty mean? Let's get that. Let's iron those up.
Violence in the history of religious thought, but
you would know a lot about that being an evotard.
Let's not pretend that he didn't have a bit of confidence himself.
Oh, yeah. He is a delusional Dunning-Kruger moron, Hitchens. Yeah, he had confidence. I'm sure he had a lot of confidence in himself.
I'm not sure. I think a lot of the time people say things like, I always read people who disagree with me, or I always, I put myself in positions where I debate people, and I always...
No, he didn't and you don't.
I think to myself, like, do you really? I mean...
No.
Do you mean that you meet people who disagree with you and you have a jousting match with them?
Disagree with me on what? On what subjective topic are they disagree? Of course, they would have to be. It would have to be subjective if it's a disagreement. Let's just disagree to disagree.
Because you enjoy debate, or do you mean
that you enjoy? There wasn't a debate.
You've actually sat with it. I'm sure a lot of people actually have, but I think it happens to varying degrees. And I think when you're watching something like a debate...
Okay, when you're watching a debate now, is it an actual debate or is it just a discussion?
It is clear to me that someone like Christopher is listening very carefully to what someone's saying and
I highly doubt that. He can't interpret what people are saying because he's too dumb.
Thinking about how to pick it apart. But
he couldn't pick apart a soup sandwich.
Can't think of many examples of him listening in such a way as to say, okay, I'm going to consider that for a moment and see what I think about it. It's almost like a lot of it was sort of pre-prepared.
No.
And so I've kind of gone off debates a little bit.
Well, so have I.
Well, you've gone off debates. You've never been involved in a debate. You don't know what a debate actually is. And neither does John. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I've gone off them completely, and I'm so...
You've never been on them.
Glad to hear you say that. I'm not surprised. I felt that the so-called confrontational debate of the kind...
No, it's just so-called debate. And the so-called meaning pseudo-debate. That's what it should be called.
That I was invited to do. I didn't invite myself to do them at all.
Yeah.
I was thrust into that position. Have serious defects. And one of them is cutting corners.
Yes. Yeah.
Not really listening to the other person and trying to win.
Yep.
When what I feel the best thing is to have a discussion. So
that's what they all were anyway. Discussions. I've been talking about that for years. You finally got it. Do you think he's finally got it or no? That's rhetorical.
For a long time now, I have asked, no debate, let's have a moderated discussion.
Sure.
That's what they were to begin with. John.
And the ability to moderate is pretty rare, to moderate.
Yeah, it is very rare. Yep. Because there's never been a debate. Now, somebody can moderate a discussion, but they have to be educated. They just can't be, out there on shrooms. You can't pick up Joe off the street to be a moderator. I spoke to this topic at length through the years.
Well, between two people. And Justin is one of the good ones.
Yes.
Bringing
Justin's...
people together is very good. Yeah. And you're a good one, too.
Oh, you're a good one, too.
I'd say so. And I think one of the things you said a moment ago, I liked, actually, I hadn't heard it put that way before, that we ignore our confidence, that we're not coming into a discussion saying, look here, I know I'm right.
I do. Because I know I'm right, and I can demonstrate it. 6 ways from Sunday.
Saying, let's talk about the issue at stake.
Let's talk. Let's have a little discussion. Let's listen to some music. Get somebody come in to rub your feet. You can piss down my back and tell me it's raining. No, that shit ain't happening with me anymore. Nope. No chance.
Let's present our case as best we could.
Yeah.
I do.
And have enough confidence in people who are watching or listening that they can make up their own mind.
Yep.
Yeah, that's in many ways how I feel about this podcast. I've long since thought that the best way to do debates of the format...
No. There are no debates. We've already been over this. You've never done a debate. You've never been involved in a debate. You never watched a debate. You're conflating discussions and debates because you're not very bright.
Opening statement. Rebuttal round.
No, it's not opening statement and rebuttal bound on a subjective topic. No. Or on an objective topic. No.
Terrible.
I thought the best way of doing that...
Yeah, they're terrible. Exactly.
...would be to produce your opening statement and then...
The opening statement. My name is Quantum Eraser, and I'm about to hand you your ass. That's my opening statement.
Everyone goes away for a week.
What?
And then you come back and you do your opening statement. Everyone goes away.
What? What the hell? How much glue do you actually sniff? What?
Away for a week, and then you come back and you do your rebuttal. And if you want, you can then stitch the videos all together to make it easy to watch, because otherwise, what's the point in presenting ideas? It becomes more about who can think on the spot. It's an ego bout.
It's a test of many things other than the truth.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I think it's a sport.
Yes.
And I've said...
That's what the problem is. It's not a debate anyway. It's just tactics in a discussion. That's all. That's what he's talking about.
Listeners to this show will have heard me use this analogy all the time. I compare it to a boxing match.
Yes.
And the crucial thing about a boxing match is that it tells you who's the better boxer, but it doesn't tell you who the better fighter is.
No.
Oh, boy.
And in this kind of...
That's it. Make it clear with more metaphor. Just so it'll clear everything up for everyone.
Of verbal interchange, it doesn't tell you what the truth is.
Yeah, quite.
And that's another thing we've gone around it a bit, but from a very early age, I was very fortunate in the books I read as a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And they questioned my beliefs, you see, and they introduced me to...
So they questioned your acceptances without evidence. That's what they did, huh?
To a much wider world. Although I confess, I tried to read books that were far too difficult for me too early, like Science and the Modern World by Alfred North Whitehead. But
Science and the Modern World. Bet you they were lining up for that one.
I had a group of people, 2 or 3 guys, and they were older than I was, so they went to university before I did.
Yeah.
And we used to read books and discuss them all the time.
That's what you do. You go to university and read books, huh?
So, although...
Why couldn't you just go to a library?
Who knows?
There was no debate. There was discussion.
Well, there's no debate. There was discussion. Exact. Well, you get... Okay, let's roll that back. Here we go.
Discuss them all the time. So although there was no debate, there was discussion, because I believed that...
No, there was no debate. There was only discussion because there was no debate. It's a category error. That's why. Not your reason you're going to make up now.
By and large, we were interested in finding out the truth.
Yeah.
And I saw the danger of these debates right away.
They weren't debates. That's why they were dangerous.
That they were a test of how fast you could think, how clever you were on your feet, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that got some ideas out into the open, because that's the way things were done. But after I'd done 6 or so big debates, I felt...
No, you never did any debates. Not a single one.
No, let's go into a moderated discussion. I remember...
That's what they all were, moderated discussions. Not let's go into. You were steeped in it from the get-go. You're in a category error.
An atheist professor in America.
What's that?
A very bright man, and they wrote to me.
Very bright man as an atheist? I don't think so. Does he know the pillars of atheism, whatever that is?
Totally contradictory, though, to say intellectual atheist.
Yeah, where? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where are we going to find? I think I put these up. Did I put them in here? Let's see. Alex, Not that one. Where would I have put the pillars of atheism at? 1 second, folks. Believe. That's a bummer. What are the pillars of atheism? It's an Evo atheist. That's where they are. Gonna pull it up for me, you punk. Nope. Nope. Let's go back. Yeah, I thought I put it right out the gate, but I guess I didn't do it. Mechanisms of evolution. Wow, this is going to get old.
No, this is where we need Adam to be like kind of going on a monologue while you're looking for it.
Pillars, yeah. No, he's on a pitch. I don't think he's on a pitch. I think he's watching a pitch. Or is the pitch just a field? Who knows? Where's my numpty pillars, man? Oh, there they are. Look, they showed up. Number one, something can come from nothing naturally. Ink, paper, and glue molecules can author technical instruction manuals and blueprints. And they directly violate the laws of thermodynamics, quantum mechanics, and common sense. Those are the three numpty pillars of atheism. Whatever that is. So, see, we finally got there. This requires a bit of patience.
Afterwards, they said, "Thank you so much for not asking for a debate."
Why would you ask for a debate? There wasn't a debate. It wasn't a debate to begin with.
The discussion is much better.
Yeah. That's what it was anyway.
Because then it gives the public, it gets into the public space, the fact that these people have thought about these things and they're inviting you to think about them. Not they're inviting you to believe what they believe because they believe it and using their authority.
Yes.
But because the things in themselves carry a conviction. So I'm very much in the same line as that.
Well, debates are artificial, and
there were no debates. You're not talking about debates. You're talking about moderated discussions. It still hasn't gotten through there, huh?
They're entertaining, but they are different from a discussion or a moderated discussion. And when I'm doing a podcast...
No, they're not. Why am I buffering?
I find it very difficult to temper between being a moderator and being the conversational partner.
I can imagine.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's another world in which if we were both invited by someone like Justin to have a conversation on, his show or something, I think for a start I would have proposed like more objections to what you were saying. I probably would have done more talking.
Yeah.
And yet I don't...
Well, that'd have been worse for all of us.
Feel like as a podcaster, I try not to just be like someone who just asks questions, and
you should be that person because you're dumb as shit.
It's a very sort of interesting line to make, and I don't actually know where
that should be your preface for your autobiography. I don't actually know.
Whether I'm more like the conversational partner or more like the moderator, as an analogy to what I'm doing in this show. And I think it can also depend on the guest. Sometimes I feel like somebody's really up for a fight.
So you give them a fight.
And so
this is quite riveting.
Try to give them, and sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes somebody clearly just wants to tell a story. But I feel, as you sort of put this, like, I'll have a conversation with you, and I've had Richard Dawkins on my podcast 2 or 3 times.
What did you do with his fleet of slobber nurses?
Times, and people can now just listen to both of them.
That's exactly.
And they can listen to them separately, and they can listen to them.
Yes.
And
why would anyone do that and lose IQ points? Like a sieve.
Think about them, And so I much prefer it that way. But I think there will be people listening to this who think that
that you're a dumbass. Yes.
At their screens, like, why are you not pressing this objection to?
No, why are you even in this room? That's what my audience is thinking. I know that's what I'm thinking, and why you're not institutionalized.
To John Lennox, why are you not saying this? Why are you not saying that? But
why are you not saying this and not saying that? That's but love your attention to detail.
It's interesting that I kind of get it in both directions. Like when I have a friendly conversation with a Christian, a lot of my Christian listeners say, "This is so great. Thank you so much for platforming a voice that disagrees with you." And my atheist listeners will sometimes say, "Oh, you should have pressed a bit harder."
I love that. That's just my game. That's my kind of party, baby. And what's an atheist?
Yep.
But then when I start pressing a bit harder, the Christians start saying, "Oh, I knew you were dishonest, and you just want to." So it's a hard thing to get right.
It's a very hard thing. But let me say that you're very successful at.
He's a moron.
Doing it, and I think that is representing the fact that so many people listen to you.
No, it just means that there's a lot of dumbasses. That's what it means, John.
I've often pointed out that the viewership of the channel went up considerably.
Who gives a shit? Is that the measure of your intellect? What are you talking about? This is just rambling nonsense. This is typical baller nonsense, right? Evolutionist. So I shouldn't hold it against. It's just stupid.
When I adopted this policy,
that's interesting.
Of
what policy? Just what?
Just doing what I would naturally do.
What? Be a dumbass?
Yes.
I'm no longer thinking, like, in the back of my mind is like, gosh, should I?
Begging a question fallacy. No, you got to prove you have a mind first to have the back of it. So that's circular reasoning.
Like, should I have really pressed you on that evolution thing?
Press me. Press me on it. Let me come on your podcast. You could press me on it.
I would love that.
Would you like that one?
I would love it. Not like it. I would pay to see it.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen.
But if that's not the conversation that I'm actually interested in having in that particular moment, then I just don't.
What conversation? The conversation is going to be real quick. It's going to be, what is evolution? We went over these in the previous 2 episodes. The questions that you won't be able to answer, so we'll have to move on, like what your favorite color is. Because I don't think you can even handle that.
Don't have it. And since I started doing that, I get a lot more criticism in the way of, you should have brought this up or you should have brought that up. But the viewership goes up because the conversations are more natural.
But you see, that's interesting, Alex.
Oh, brother.
Because whether you know it or not, during this conversation, I've done exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have.
Yeah.
In other words, I know that you're a friendly person, and
what does that have to do with the existence of God? We're touchy-feely, open-toed sandals, and really bad breath. You've lost the plot. It's embarrassing.
Decided not to push you on certain things.
Like, for instance?
Beyond limits. And
what limits of what?
I actually haven't pushed you on any of your beliefs.
That's true.
You haven't pushed him on his acceptance without evidence of his things, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you couldn't support him because you have no evidence and you're a moron. That's true.
True. Yeah.
And as you sit there, I don't know exactly where you stand.
Under a rock in the abyss. That's where he stands.
I have, because it's your podcast, I have allowed you to make the running. But it's similar thinking that this podcast achieves more because it's your.
Why are we talking about a podcast? You see this? God exists. This is about the existence of God, not his podcast. Time to get the Adderall drip out. It was time way back here.
Yeah.
If you do what you like
if you do what you do.
Doing, and
if you do what you like doing, that's things that you do.
In that sense, the receptor of it.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, I think my beliefs are.
Your beliefs are what? Your acceptances without evidence are what?
I'm not a Christian, and that
didn't make any sense. We're not trying to ask you what you're not.
A lot to do with my lack of trust in the reliability of not so much the Gospels as a whole, but particularly things like the resurrection narratives.
Oh my God.
But this team of religion is bad, and
religion is good for you because you're an evotard. That's your whole foundational worldview, dude.
And evil and corrupt,
whatever that is.
Of thought. I'm not on that boat.
Yes, well, nor am I.
And I'm also not on the boat of saying that God doesn't exist and religion is false.
God does exist, and evotard religion does exist. It's put forward by abject morons. Yeah. That's it.
I'm more of an agnostic.
Yes.
You're an agnostic atheist. What the hell is that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Well, agnostic atheist. So let's try to figure this out. So atheist, colloquially, is somebody that doesn't believe in God. Is that fair?
That's fair.
An agnostic is you don't have enough information to make the call. Essentially. So you this is pretty stupid. Agnostic atheist. I believe that God doesn't exist, but I don't have enough information to make the call.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God! You're
like, I'm just gonna go ahead and choose to go ahead and believe something I don't have enough information for.
yeah, exactly. You got it. It's so stupid. What a moron you are, dude.
These days, but
just these days,
I tend to take a more critical tone.
A critical tone.
Because that's just sort of who I am and what I do.
You're a moron. And things you do are moronic.
But I think I remain quite thoroughly agnostic, which is one of the reasons.
Yep, quite thoroughly agnostic. That's it. Don't have enough information to make the call, but you don't believe in God. Makes perfect sense.
It's quite difficult to interrogate my beliefs because there are so...
Oh, I bet it's very difficult to interrogate your beliefs. Yeah, we're searching for a speck of coherency in there. Yeah, it'd be very difficult. I bet you I can get in there and root them out.
It's like trying to watch someone who's incapable of destroying a soup sandwich try.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So few of them that are solidly held. But one of them would be, for example, so there's the reliability of Scripture, but when you're talking about theism as opposed to...
No, we're not talking about Scripture. We're talking about the existence of God. Like I said, they've lost the plot a long time ago.
Christianity, one of them really is the problem of evil, which we...
The problem of evil. What does the problem of evil have to do with the existence of God?
Haven't spoken about at all today, except for that brief mention.
Why would you? It's like talking about how you diced your tomatoes up this morning. I bet you he doesn't even know what a tomato is.
In the evolutionary tract.
Evolutionary tract? What's that? You just agree with him? Or did he agree beforehand? 1 second.
Haven't spoken about at all today, except for that brief mention in the evolutionary tract.
Oh, he agreed before he come out with the evolutionary tract, whatever that means.
When we were talking about evolution, I do...
Oh, when we were talking about evolution. What is evolution, by the way? So we could talk a little bit more about it.
Find it mysterious and bewildering.
You find it mysterious and bewilderment.
Especially
bewildering. Yeah, so do I.
In the context of evolution.
What? You find evolution mysterious and bewildering in the context of evolution.
It's the hard question for any worldview.
What's the hard question? Let's hear what the hard question is.
But then one of the reasons why it actually comes up so little is because it almost...
What comes up? What the hell are you even talking about? Jesus.
Almost feels trivial to bring up because it's the obvious point. It is.
What is?
The argument.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what, I'm going to reach through this fucking computer and rip his guts right through his throat.
It's like he's like, oh, this is the argument that we also can't define what it is.
My God, this is painful. How much we got left of this? 1:30. Got just a few more minutes. What's it say? Why discussion is better than debate. That's what this last section is titled. Why discussion is better than fucking idiots.
And it's been discussed ad nauseum. And
what has been discussed ad nauseum?
Well,
what the fuck, dude?
Evolution, whatever the heck that is.
Oh man, hungry.
I don't know if I can.
I think that might be.
I don't know if I can sentence fragment. You're gonna help him out. So what's the question?
Good topic for another time.
I think.
Well, the hard question is the good topic for another time. Okay.
So too.
But I will say one thing about it. Because whenever this comes up, it often comes up.
What?
in terms whether people who are discussing it realize it or not.
What's it? That's what we want to know.
To go back a long way to people like Lucretius and so on.
Lucretius?
Surely a good God, an all-powerful God should, etc., do this or that.
What? That doesn't.
Oh, the argument of evil.
Oh, are they still on this nonsense?
Yes.
Oh boy, I'm glad. Can I put this on 78 speed? No, I won't do it.
And I've reflected on that a lot because
you would.
We've all had endless arguments like that.
You would.
That have never come to a satisfactory conclusion.
Do you know who Hanoi Gerain and Boy Zero Skygrifter is? Because that's their mantra. Did you hear it? Listen to it closely again.
And I've reflected on that a lot because we've all had endless arguments like that.
Endless arguments.
That have never come to a satisfactory conclusion.
There you go.
Right.
That's it. That as soon as I heard that, that's Jaren and Hanoi Jaren and Boy Zero Skygrifter, Mr. Ping Pong Golf Ball. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They've been doing it for years, ever since the beginning. Them and their ilk. Yep.
Stringing people along.
Yep.
Like friend zoning them. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Friend zone.
Like in dating, when you put somebody in the friend zone.
I've never done that. I dislike everyone equally.
I've started to think about that fact. Because as a mathematician.
As a mathematician, what does that have to do with this topic?
You get problems that people have attacked for centuries and have got nowhere. And the way mathematicians react to that is that they say perhaps we're asking the wrong question.
What question?
And And I think I found that helpful in the following way, and I'll be brief. It's this, that...
What's it? It says that.
What faces everybody is a mixed picture.
What faces everybody? Okay, he's talking to the audience out there. What faces you is a mixed picture of what?
I call it beauty and bombs.
Beauty and bombs. Now, you guys can visualize this. It's a mixed picture. It's beauty and bombs. Okay? Everyone following?
In other words, we look at the world, we see some beautiful things, and we see some horrible things.
You guys got that? That's not a mixed picture. That's many pictures. Not one picture.
Especially these days.
Nah, it's been going on for all days.
And any worldview has got to take that into account.
Take what into account? The mixed picture? Or the pictures? What?
That is a fact.
Problem of evil.
So the whole worldview, this is incoherent.
And we can argue.
We're going to argue about the mixed picture or pictures?
As long as we like about the theoretical side, if God is good and all powerful, why this and why that? Why?
What?
The other. And we never come to a satisfactory answer. So I propose another question.
Oh, God, here we go with another question. Let's put it up for odds. Is it going to be coherent or incoherent?
It's meant to replace an incoherent one, though.
Got bombs and beauty to what?
Equally difficult.
Okay.
But I think it gets us a bit further.
Okay.
Granted that it's like that.
Granted that it's like what? It's like what? What's it? Is it like that, or
Problem
is
of
it?
evil.
Or is it?
Is there any evidence anywhere that...
Anywhere. Nice pause. For a fact, let's see.
There is a God who understands it.
That there is a God that understands it. What? I'm not even going to try. I'm trying to discern complete moron talk. It's impossible for me to do because I'm not a moron.
Maybe I am a little bit of a moron because I'm taking it as like granted that there is a problem of evil. Maybe ask the question if there is a God who understands the problem of evil.
You got all that out of there, out of what they've said, or are you pulling
yes.
Are you pulling a friggin' Brian Adams?
No, because that's what they started discussing.
That doesn't mean that's what he's talking about now.
Yeah, I guess you could be right.
And that's moronic anyway. God's sovereign. End of discussion. The Creator is sovereign. Period. End of discussion. That's it.
And to such an extent that I can feel, not that I've got an answer.
I do. God's sovereign. To what Flatsy thinks that your argument is, I think it's incoherent mess.
But that I can see there's a possibility of coming to some peace about it. And
coming to what? What do you say?
Some peace about it.
Peace about what?
The problem of evil.
Oh my God.
Possibility of coming to some peace about it. And my answer to that is that, yes, I think there is. And it's the fact that...
Yes, I think there is. Are you answering yourself?
the God presented in the Christian Gospels.
Okay, now we're getting now we're on topic.
Is a
not this topic, on the topic that they made up off plot or after the plot was lost.
God who in that sense has suffered, because the
what?
Central claim of Christianity is that God became human.
Yeah.
And that Christ is God. So
yeah. John 1:1 through 1:4.
Crudely put, what is God doing on a cross?
That's a very good question. And easily answered. But unimaginable love is unreachable for us. We can't fathom it. That's what it is. Unfathomable love. Yep, that's it.
Well, one thing it certainly shows me is that God has not remained distant from human suffering, but has become...
But distant from human suffering? I'm not... Oh, boy.
...become part of it. And the very interesting thing, Alex, is that in 2011, I arrived in New Zealand 3 days.
Oh, here we go. Go again. This is almost over, but I got to go get some pineapple. Flatsy, take over.
Goodness. I am not Adam or Brian. Taking over is not my forte, but I can have a little bit of a sympathy towards what he's saying here at the end. I don't know if anybody else can. So I guess that would be me kind of taking Adam and Brian's, or well, no, Adam's stance and Nathan's stance to kind of agree with him somewhat, or be agreeable, at least towards what he's saying. Maybe that's totally off base because he's an enabler and, you know, keeps the conversation going when QE, if he was in this position, he could cut it off at the knees. I think just about anybody in this chat probably could. What do you say, says who?
Well, I'm familiar with John Lennox and his shtick. And so he's going to be telling us about how God is going to identify with human suffering and senseless wickedness by hanging on a cross, right? He was innocent, and yet he experienced that. So that's where he's going with it. That's one of his main claims when he has these, you know, moderated discussions. So,
yes,
which is it's not an invalid point. And you know, it would be an answer to somebody who would claim themselves to be an atheist, whatever that is, when they ask the question, you know, why does God allow? Well, it's not a fair question to begin with. But it's not as if he's not aware of the suffering or the injustice.
Yeah, it's more like the question should be pointed at mankind. Like, why does mankind allow such horrible things to happen? Because ultimately, we have the free will to be good or evil, and people choose to be evil. So it's why would someone that's innocent be hanged by any like amount of mankind at all?
Sure. They thought, and now somebody mentioned this earlier, they chimed in, they said that, you know, Jesus was being hung on the tree for blasphemy. But, you know, the story that was given to the Romans was the fact that he was some kind of rebel and wanted to start an insurrection, which there was a problem with the insurrections at that time anyways. So they had to give some kind of excuse as to why they wanted him essentially murdered, or at least crucified, you know, capital punishment. Now, why would they do that? Did they feel they had a moral obligation to that, or did they feel that they had a religious justification for that? Well, they were trying to combine the two, but ultimately, what we discover as far as the Gospels are concerned is Jesus was just bad for business. Like he was showing the people that what the Pharisees and the religious leaders were telling them was ultimately incorrect, that they didn't actually know God. They only operated by a very legalistic system. And that was creating a problem for the religious leaders. They were losing authority. They were losing their sway over the public. So the only way to solve that problem was to get rid of Jesus.
Right, exactly. And it's just hatred for the truth also. So, and that's what we were given with Jesus, was the truth. And they hated the truth, so they hated him.
Right. And they hate the truth today. Now, people would say, do they hate Jesus or do they hate the truth? Are you combining the two? And I'm not sure you can separate the two, because he said he is the truth. Now, does he mean the truth about everything? The truth about life? The truth about whether or not the earth is a spinning water ball or flat? Who knows? But even in this age, people, when they're presented with things that are objectively true, reject it because of their preference, or ultimately because it's not convenient for them, not because the information or the experiment or whatever is not bearing out in reality. They just don't like it because it means I have to change the way that I think and therefore the way that I act.
Very well said. Yes.
How long does it take to get pineapple?
Long enough.
He's got to also start chewing on it a little bit.
So you're the one that sent us down this incoherent road, says who?
Yeah, I know. And I don't regret it, actually.
I do.
There's been some good stuff in here, though. You can point out the incoherency on both sides, right? So I thought it was good content. I don't know. That's me. It's subjective, though.
Yeah, but it's painful for me.
It is painful. I know. You hate it. But at least you get an opportunity to point it out.
Okay.
Here's where these people are, just making stuff up.
Yeah, they're glue sniffers. We clearly they established it for us. So I thank you for that was a very good summary. It was quite good. Maybe you ought to host the show.
Oh, jeez. I don't have the I don't have the personality that you do, John. I just don't have it.
Okay. I think you still could.
You.
Well, his color commentary could still be a part of you hosting.
Well, that's true. But, there's not a lot of content, especially if we don't have Adam here, because I was thinking about it. You said, where was Adam earlier? I thought, well, I could probably start drinking and then just ask for J's incessantly. But, oh, well.
That's going to go over well. Wait till I tell him that.
He knows.
I know he knows. So, I know that you're all interested. I got some pineapple, and the wife said there's some fresh cherries in there. I'll tell you what, man, they are absolutely delicious, those cherries. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to eat the pineapple first, and I'll knock the crap out of those cherries right afterwards. We all good? There's no more show. I'm not doing. In fact, I'm sick of this. Out of here.
Yeah, I think that it says who did cover that very well, very succinctly too, I might add.
I even removed
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I removed it. I'm not looking at that again. So what are we going to do now?
No clue.
I got 30 minutes.
Talk about the weather or food or both.
Say again? Somebody said something. Somebody was rumpusing.
John.
Say again? Hello? Alrighty then. thought I heard John in that.
Hell's Angles was trying to speak, but
Yeah.
Angles, brother, I think your mic is no good.
Drop that. Come back in.
drop that.
You guys better start talking.
That was 3 super chats worth of a show. Maybe we gave them a little more than 3 super chats worth.
I think we did. I think we should pay them for watching this.
Good point.
I said, please don't sing, John.
Why would I sing? I can't sing when I'm eating. It would be rude.
What's wrong with his singing?
Yeah.
I find it full of gusto and guts.
We're just going to sit there until I'm done eating then. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cherries. They're biggins too.
Yeah, I've got Booger here, so I have to keep muting up so that he's not leaking through the stream with the things that he's saying that are totally off topic.
Well, it'd line up with this show and with John Lennox and
yeah. That's why it's good to have Adam and Brian here, because, well, maybe not Brian, because he's got a lot of noises around him going on when he's trying to speak through his mic, but Adam is clearly not being disturbed while he's talking. Except by, the panel.
Could run slideshows in a while. So the next question is, what are we going to do on the next show? That's a really good question. Glad I asked it. Let's see what we got. Big Think vid. Let's see what this is. I should have titled this. Try this. Let's see what this is about. Got random videos stacked up. My slideshow. Paste.
Oh yeah, I remember this. You inserting this into your slideshow or your whatever that thing is that you keep tabs on recommended videos.
Brian Cox, somebody who was it? Was it guy that's not here? Tony Wickham. He suggested this, I think.
Yep, in a super chat.
Yes, Brian Cox, the incomprehensible scales that roll the universe. Huh. Well, I got one more cherry. Let me deal with that, and then we'll jump in here for a few minutes. All right, see what's happening.
This ought to be good.
All right, here we go. Is everyone ready? Do I got it on screen? Yeah. Why is it on both screens, though? Let's do Okay, there we go.
When we think about the size of things, we tend to...
When you think about the size of things... Uh-oh.
This is a family show.
Yeah, I know.
Of things with reference to ourselves. So, you know, the foot or the meter or those things, or the inch or the centimeter. What are those things? Oh,
is he some
linear measurements?
Is he some type of fruitcake or something, this Cox guy? I mean, he looks... I know it's a family show. I'm going to let this go.
Ultimately, historically...
What the hell is on his shirt?
They're based on properties of the human body.
What?
It's a skull.
What the... Why?
I don't know.
So they're based on biology. And that's what we did historically, because why would you do anything else? Is that fundamental? Well, the answer is no. It doesn't tell you anything profound or deep about the deep structure of the universe. But of course, the history of physics...
Can we define the universe first, Brian, so you can get everyone on the same sheet of music? What is the universe? Now, it doesn't have to be hyper detail. You could just give us the, the abbreviated version. Give us something.
I think I would try to define. I think I would try to define it as the available space of all reality.
The available space of available. That's a bit general.
That's the only way I could define it, though.
I could live with it. I'd like to know is the border conditions, or not border,
Wouldn't
but same thing. Boundary conditions. Where's the boundaries of it?
The container, not a container, the container.
Yeah, I would just like to hear in his words what is the boundary conditions. What he thinks. That's what I'd like to know.
The universe. But of course, the history of physics tells us as we go in.
The history of physics doesn't say anything.
Into the 17th century, the 18th century, the 19th century, 20th century.
Well, we're going through centuries pretty quick here.
We then begin to understand that there are things.
I know that's Richard Feynman. He's a younger man than.
Things that are much bigger than us and much.
Oh, is that Hubble? Anyone? You know that archery shoot that I'm going to at the end of the month, the 23rd of March? This has a serious connection. The town, like I said, is named Marshfield. Guess whose hometown is Marshfield, Missouri?
Is it Hubble?
Yep.
That's a mighty optical contraption right there.
A mighty one, there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like the detail. A contraption.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Yeah, I think you know what? I would probably say the same thing. That's what it looks like, a contraption. It looks like that it would, if it would fall right back into him. It would mash him right up against this contraption back here.
Another contraption.
Another contraption. I know this one too. I know this guy too. Who is this? Is that Jonas Salk? Huh. He's a young man here, but that might be as an older man. Yeah?
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like it would be him older, yes.
Let's see if there's any older ones. Oh, he never aged. All right, that's enough.
We're looking, I suppose, for units of measurement that you could imagine if we met some aliens from some different civilizations.
Aliens? Different civilization? Where? You talking about in that outer space second law of thermodynamics violation out there?
They might not even have arms, right, or feet, but they.
Oh my goodness, you're a fruitcake.
They might be very different in size and scale from us. So what would the common language be? Is there some...
Oh my gosh.
This is really glue sniffing. We're off the reservation here. It might be jive.
Well, since they don't have arms and legs, they don't have any concept of our feet in inches and centimeters. And
agree on. I'm Brian Cox. My full title is Professor of Particle Physics at the University of Manchester.
Oh, God, you're a moron. Certifiable.
Royal Society Professor for Public Engagement in Science and
the Royal Society Professor for Public Engagement in Science. It's non sequitur.
It's like a really glorified way of saying that he's a science communicator, right?
Yes. That's exactly correct. Yes, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
And visiting scholar at the Crick Institute. Or you could just call me Brian.
But we'll just call you asshat. From the Planck length to the cosmos. Oh, this is going to be rich.
What are the fundamental quantities, as far as we can tell, that really...
The fundamental quantities that I've experienced in my life is dumbasses everywhere.
Really tell us something about the structure of nature. So one would be the speed of light.
There is no speed of light.
He's sorry. I just figured out what he looks like. He looks like an old version of an emo Justin Bieber.
Yeah. That's a good description, Flatsy.
Yeah.
I heard he's got Lyme disease.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yep, them damn ticks.
Yeah. Don't get you started on the nomenclature of ticks.
It pisses me off.
The only person it would.
Everything that is massless travels.
Everything that is massless. Okay, we got a big problem. Number one, there is no one-way speed of light. Number two, you don't know what mass is. First, you'd have to define mass, and you could never do it. So for something to be massless is non sequitur because you can't define mass, so it can't be less that thing you can't define. So you're already off the friggin' reservation, Cox. I mean, legitimately, I can support all that. So...
at the speed of light, this speed, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. What speed is that?
If you have any mass at all, you cannot...
You don't know what mass is. This is all bullshit.
Not travel. You cannot accelerate to the...
Oh, my God.
Speed. Another one would be...
What the hell is this? Oh, we got a cartoon.
The strength of the...
No. It's the strength of gravity, not... Well, what's gravity first? Then we can talk about the strength of it. Then which gravity are you talking about? What's this cartoon we got going on here?
Gravitational force.
There is no gravitational force. Gravity hasn't been a force for about 110 years.
He's depicting the Einsteinian gravity right here, though.
Yeah, but he said gravitational. Let's go back. Yeah.
Yep,
I see what you're saying, Flats. Yes. And he was one of. Let's just let him. Just listen to what he says here. Listen up.
Speed. Another one would be the strength of the gravitational force.
The strength of the gravitational force is what he said. That's one of the pressing questions, right? So, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, boy. So, this is Brian Cox. And where did I put his citations for? That's the next question. Where is gravity at? So we know it's Brian Cox, and he's talking about the gravitational force. I thought that would have bought me enough time. But
Well, I saw you pass by Newton and Einstein.
Yeah, did I? Where was I? Missed it.
Well, hold on. Stop scrolling.
I can't stop scrolling. It's what I do. There it is. It's bolded.
Yep.
I got it. So, Brian Cox stated that one of his questions here, or one of his two big thingies, was the gravitational force, right? When he stated in this video right here, Brian Cox, there isn't really a force of gravity at all, ladies and gentlemen. So how could you state this and then speak to a gravitational force without violating the law of non-contradiction? Answer, you can't. He's a double-speaking moron. From Brian Cox.
So what is the force between two?
There is no force. You even stated it before, you glue sniffer.
Objects of a particular mass.
Not gravity.
Or in Einstein's theory, how does a particular...
Einstein never proposed a scientific theory in his life. See, Brian Cox doesn't know what natural science is the problem. He's clueless about the scientific method. He can only regurgitate horse shit from other people.
Particular amount of math.
That doesn't look like natural science to me. It looks like an equation. That's not a theory. That's an equation, you dumbass cracker. It's just moronic.
Matter or energy distort the fabric of the universe.
This horse shit equals that horse shit. What does that mean? Is that a theory? Are you theorizing equivalency? Oh boy, it's so stupid. That's what we're down to, ladies and gentlemen. This is moronic.
Universe. The number that tells you about that is Newton's gravitational constant.
Newton's gravitational constant. Newton said that that's a bunch of horseshit, and it wasn't his gravitational constant. We want to see the gravitational constant in the Principia. From the Principia. Guess what, folks? It's not there.
Which was first measured back in the 1780s.
No, it wasn't. It was never measured. It was never measured. Who measured it?
His 1790s.
No, that's Cavendish. He didn't measure. He didn't measure the gravitational constant. You glue sniffer? If he said 17, he said late 1700s, right? It's got to be Cavendish.
He was trying to... Sorry, he was trying to find the mass of the Earth, right?
No, density of the Earth.
Oh yeah, density of the Earth. That's right.
Yeah, this Brian Cox, he's delusional. He's got his story so twisted. This is all incoherent. No connection to the last piece, and outright false statements. So you're not starting off well, boy. I'll tell you what. We got to save this for the next show. I just wanted to play a couple minutes to see where we're going. Observing a Planck length distance. Yeah, this is good. We'll save this. We're going to save this for next time, folks. Sorry about that. Sorry. We call that in the industry a tease.
Now I can't get an old emo Justin Bieber out of my head. Are you muted?
Yeah.
Because I expected an immediate response and I got silence.
It was an immediate response, but I was muted. So there, you could see him anyway. I don't have to, even if I take him off the screen, you still see him in Discord. You're right. Your description of it was right on point. It's friggin' scary.
Like, I don't know. I just find it hilarious when people of a certain age they dress like they're from a younger generation instead of like appropriately. I just find it so funny.
He looks like he could be a member of the Monkees. You know what I mean? Back in the day. If the Monkees come on and he was, and I seen him in the band, I would not be surprised. It would not look out of the ordinary to me. I'll show you. Okay, see those.
They're dressed more appropriately for their age, though.
Let's get a color one, because that's not fair.
See that guy in a pea coat? It's nice. Button-ups, nice button-ups.
You can't make these.
Or maybe
things.
they're. Sorry, I was going to say maybe they're the mother of pearl snaps.
What the hell is this? I just want the picture.
That's Spotify.
I had this album, by the way. Yeah, we ain't doing that anymore. You get the picture. No pun intended. Yeah, he's gone. We're done with him. All righty, folks. This is where we say goodbye. So, Flatsy, take us home, girl.
Well, sorry if you felt like this was torture, this whole episode of QE Live. But we had a little bit of fun. We missed Adam and his diatribes and monologues. But maybe next time we'll have him back, and you all have a great day and carry on.
All of your gullible idiot followers should be realizing right now that you are an idiot or you are a liar. You said you would get turned away at gunpoint. I did not get turned away at gunpoint. You lied, Nathan.
The sun is shining, he's alone, raging into his iPhone, screaming at the top of his lungs as a 24-hour sun. Oh, how we laughed in this fat land at such a comical sight. To see the tune, the globe-head goose spewing out his shite. Shouting! Where's the guns, Nathan? You promised that I'd see. I'm all alone here raging. Everyone loves something. Oh, where's the guns, Nathan? This is our secret bit. Not come all this distance just for you to take the piss. The ice wind's blowing, here he goes, pacing like a lunatic, upside down on a spinning globe, but the best is yet to come. Oh, how we laughed in this flat land at such a comical sight. To see me tune the globe-head goon spewing out his choice, screaming. Where's the guns, Nathan? You promised that I'd see. 'Cause I'm all alone here raging. Everyone loves me. Oh, where's the guns, Nathan? And listen, our secret bliss. I've not came all this distance just for you to take the piss.
reflected to measurement. You are a dumb liar. Every single one of your dumb followers needs to look at their lives and realize Nathan Oakley is a liar. Since 2016, he's been saying if you go to Antarctica, you will be faced with gunpoint and turned away. Where's the guns, Nathan? Where's the guns? I don't see any guns, Nathan! All of your gullible